Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's episode, I'm gonna show you how chess could be brutal and also demonstrate that in chess, if you lose a game, it is always by your own mistake. So I played total 3 games with same user and I'll show you each game individually. By the way, I'm analyzing this game as a beginner's perspective. So here are no fancy tactics and I'm showing you how beginners sees this game. So let's start with the game number 1. Let's start with game number 1. In game number 1, my opponent plays with white pieces and I'm playing with black pieces. So let's start the game. So the game starts with pawn to e4, pawn to e5, knight to c3, knight to c6, bishop to c4, knight to f6, pawn to d3, bishop to b4, bishop to d2, and pawn to d6. So in the beginning we exchange a lot of pieces. Here you can see there is no tactics, only exchange. So after a few exchanges, we are in this position. During this position, I make a great move. By the way, it is intentionally. If you ask me why I'm using the word intention, because during this game, I have made a total 5 great moves in which 4 of them was by mistake. I can explain you why the great move was by mistake. Because look here, computer says it's a great move. In the next move, though my opponent wins my rook, here I am threatening the queen. Opponent moves the queen, and again it's a great move, but it is by mistake, because when opponent moves his king, I take his rook. Here what should be the best move was this. After takes, I'm winning a queen. So let's continue, and again it's a great move. And it is followed by a mistake. So here the great move was rook to h1. After this I could have won the queen, though it was a miss, because here I have given a check. Yes, the move could have been like this. Anyway, so again after a few checks, again it's a great move. You know, my elo level is around 862. So I'm a beginner, and what beginners do is look only his pieces and avoid the opponent. So I did the same. Here again it's a mistake. Here the best move was to move my queen to f6. Why? Because if my opponent attacks with pawn here or move his queens elsewhere, then it was a checkmate. Or if my opponent have moved his queen elsewhere, then it's a checkmate. Anyway, it was a checkmate. So what I do, a miss, and again a miss. So the best move here was to sacrifice the rook. So if this, that would happen this, that it was a checkmate. So here, after a few checks, again a great move. Here I could have taken the queen, but as you know, I am at elo 800, so I didn't see that and lose my queen. So here, after a series of checks, I lose the game. So after losing game number 1, I get frustrated and apply for a rematch. And here I'm playing with the same user, and this time I'm playing with white pieces. So the game start with knight to c3, pawn to e5, pawn to e4, knight to f6, knight to f3, bishop to b4, bishop to b5, pawn to a6, pawn back to c4, pawn to d6, and knight to g5. So here I don't know what type of game it is. So initially my plan was for a fried liver. So if my opponent has moved his other pieces, then it was a fried liver. But my opponent sees this and he moved his queen. And I move my bishop, and which is of no use. And I don't know why I have moved this bishop. So after this, my opponent life could have been easy. So, and here after a few actions, here the best move was to move my bishop to b3, but instead here and checks. After this, so here in this position I realize that I'm losing my queen. So if my opponent could have seen this move, he could have captured, but hopefully he didn't see it. And after this move, I realized that I made a blunder. So immediately when he moves his king, I move my queen back, and here I lost my bishop and knight. After a few checks, which were pointless because I haven't developed my other pieces. So after this, this, here, I could have moved my rook to here. My opponent cannot take my rook, and if he moves his other pieces like this, then after this it will have been a queen exchange, or if he move his queen to elsewhere like here, then I could have given a check. So it should have been a plan, but after this I lose my bishop again. Losing my pieces. After this, it was a checkmate. So after this game, again I could have gone for a new game. Instead, I asked for a rematch. So let's dive in for game number 3. In game number 3, I play with black pieces. So the game start with pawn to e4, pawn to e5, knight to c3, knight to c6, bishop to c4, knight to f6, pawn to d3, pawn to d6, pawn to f4. So here, after few moves, we are in this position. Here I am threatening for a check and threatening the queen. Here the simple move should be this, but instead my opponent moves his king, and here I could have taken the queen, but instead I move my knight. And again here my opponent could have moved his queen elsewhere. So what he do? He captures the knight, the other knight, and here I captures his queen, and in the same position my opponent resigns. So this is with the game number 3. I played 3 games with the same user. Hope you like it, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you.